Welcome to today's Employer Spotlight, where we highlight industry experts and chefs who are seeking to share their wisdom, but also hire Escoffier students, externs, and graduates to their specific establishments. We are joined today with Yellowstone, and I'm really excited to hear and learn about this really new age establishment. I think our community is going to be really interested. So why don't you go ahead, Robert, tell us who you are, where you represent, and the location of your establishment.
Thanks, Kate. Appreciate the intro. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert McCormick. I'm the culinary director for the Yellowstone Club in Big Sky, Montana. The Yellowstone Club's a pretty unique property. I've worked in a lot of independent restaurants, boutique hotels, large multi-unit restaurant groups, but the Yellowstone is unique in that, number one, it's private, and it's the only private ski resort actually in the entire country, and arguably probably the world. So we have two big seasons here, winter and summer, and basically it's a roughly 15,000 acre property with about 900 homes on it, and I run the kitchen, the culinary side of things. So there's about 15 kitchens on property, ranging from Italian fine dining to like a fresh smash burger sort of style concept, and everything in between. We do a lot of catering, weddings, and things like that. So it's a pretty vast sort of property and stuff here too, but really caters to the kind of global traveler, the outdoor enthusiast, family oriented environment. That kind of wants a little bit of peace and quiet, but also a great meal. So it's pretty unique.
Absolutely, and very picturesque. I mean, it's just in some of the most beautiful landscape in the United States. So, yeah. What else can you tell us about this as a job opportunity? Why would our externs and alumni be interested in investing their time and talents in a property like yours from a career development aspect?
Yeah, so great question. Early on when I was a student, it was always, try to get into these small sort of really fine dining restaurants and learn your craft and learn your skill. And that's largely what I did for the first, 10 years out of my career. What's interesting about Yellowstone Club is that you have, 12 to, 13, depending on the season, different outlets or restaurants to work in. So when you're, just coming out of school, you're not really sure what direction you want to go into. If it's fine dining, if it's, sort of more casual, grab and go, there's a lot of different opportunities out there for the young culinarian. And here you can kind of pick and choose what you want, all within this, sort of one umbrella. So you don't need to kind of make that big commitment straight out of school. You can run the fine dining restaurant for a few months in the summer, and then switch over and do catering and events, potentially for the winter season, or vice versa. So there's like that really, and not only do you not need to commit to something straight away, but you just learn these different aspects of the business. So eventually down the road, 10 years from now, you're running a hotel, potentially a kitchen in a hotel, the catering piece of it, the casual sort of lobby lounge style menu, and you can do the fine dining outlet as well too. So for me, variety is the spice of life sort of thing. It's the more you can kind of take in these different operations, especially at an early age, it's just gonna pay out tenfold down the road.
Certainly, and what a unique opportunity to be able to do that all under one umbrella in one location in a short amount of time, if you're looking for that kind of experience. So you mentioned a little bit of your journey. Can you tell us about your career timeline? I think that you've got a really interesting career trajectory that our students would be interested in hearing
it's kind
about.
of all over the place, but I'll break it up into a little bit more simple terms. So I went to the Culinary Institute of America. It's a culinary school in upstate New York in the Hudson Valley, and great, amazing opportunity for me. Like I kind of got into cooking a little bit during high school. It was my first part-time job as in the summers and on the weekends, and that led to the Culinary Institute. And from there, we did school, and it's a lot of what you guys are doing now too. It's all the fundamentals, the basics. You're not really grasping full concepts just yet, but you're introduced to all these different things. From there, I went to work for a chef in Atlanta named Gunther Seeger, an old school German guy, really fine dining. Farm to table was like a big thing for him. So we had farmers, fishermen, all these different people coming to the restaurant all throughout the day. And that really set the foundation and tone for my whole career after that. It was really all about the ingredients, not manipulating, not doing too much to the ingredients, just like keeping them simple, but finding the best, most flavorful in-season ingredients you can possibly find. And so that kind of set the tone. So for the next 10 years, I really just tried to hone that concept. And I worked for Michel Richard. I worked for Chef Seeger for several years. And then I worked for Danielle Balut for about 7 years too. And so that from, let's say, age 20 to 30 was really just honing the skills of cooking, not getting too much into managing and leading and things like that, but really understanding, different techniques and skills and building on all that. And then you kind of build a little bit of confidence. From there, I was still working with Danielle and really started getting in more to the larger running kitchens and leading people and teaching what I've known to younger cooks and stuff that are coming through the ranks. And that was pretty nice. That was awesome too. It was like this whole new world. All of a sudden, it's not just about cooking. It's about interacting with people and managing a facility and ordering and purchasing and understanding the whole financial aspects of things too. And from there, I was with Danielle as a corporate chef for a couple of years, and then moved into a role with Dean and DeLuca in New York, which was more of a retail sort of environment. If you're not familiar with Dean and DeLuca, it's like a high-end gourmet retail, cafes and things like that. Totally different shift, and that was always a thing for me too. Was like try to look at different things, things in a different light, and do don't just stick to one sort of style of cooking or service style. The more you can sort of be broad, and I think it adds to your skill set for future use. So anyway, was running kitchens there, a lot of concept development, things like that, and this multi-unit thing. So there was Dean and DeLuca's all over the country. From there, I took a little bit of a different step and went to a company called True Food Kitchen, which is a Phoenix-based restaurant group. There was one in Cherry Creek, is probably the closest one to the campus there. But it was a partnership between Sam Fox, a restaurateur from Phoenix, and a doctor, Dr. Andy Weil. And I know a lot of you guys are doing a lot of the plant-based stuff too, and health and wellness and stuff too. So I'm sure Dr. Weil might actually be part of your curriculum at some point. He's kind of the old school, there's a lot of newer folks kind of talking about a lot of that stuff now too. But anyway, they formed a restaurant group, and the idea of the menu was all about anti-inflammatory foods that really just tasted amazing and fresh and seasonal. And so from 2016 to 2021, I kind of led the culinary R&D development of that restaurant group, and I kind of launched, I think when I started, there was 20 restaurants, and we ended up with close to 40, I think, at this point in time too. So really cool, high growth, scaling one menu across all sorts of different markets across the US. So it was pretty cool, but all scratch cooking at the same time as well. From there, I found my way to Yellowstone Club, and it's almost the exact opposite of what True Food was. It was not from a health and wellness standpoint, because we do really focus a lot on that too in certain outlets here. But it was taking, True Food was this one menu where we scaled out to all over the country. This is taking one location and having this variety of different menus and offerings across the board too. So really kind of a different mindset too. But anyway, in summary, it was, small independent restaurants. There was a couple boutique hotels in there that I might have skipped over. And, larger resorts. When I was with Danielle, there was Wynn Las Vegas, so big resorts. And now, multi-unit restaurants, and now private clubs too. So really trying to encompass like the whole industry in the different styles. And at the end of the day, they are different, but it really just comes down to sort of like people and relationships and understanding what motivates people, and whether it be the guest or a young culinarian or a coworker, it's just really comes down to people and relationships. So it's been a fun journey, and it's taken me all over the world, and which has been pretty exciting too.
I'd say, and it's really good to see, I'm just visualizing every step, and it has taken you across so many different industry segments of our industry, in multiple different roles. And it's just been this growth pattern for you. So now that you're here, what continues to drive you in this industry?
Yeah, I'll segue right into the people and relationships piece. It's always been, early on, it was always about food and making the most intricate plates and photos and things like that. And it's largely what a lot of younger students and cooks are doing that too. But for me, it was always about people. And there's nothing more rewarding to me than seeing some of the younger cooks I've helped to sort of groom and train throughout the years. They're opening their own restaurants now, and they're starting their own families, and they're like growing into this whole thing. It's giving me goosebumps a little bit just thinking about it, actually. And it's like, wow, I've had an impact on some of these people in a really positive way. And they've been able to kind of, wasn't just me, it was a lot on them too, but it definitely helped show them, whether it be just like basic habits and culinary, kitchen etiquette, or just exposing them to like, how to think about things differently and not just, go by the book. And, cooking's like this sort of ongoing natural thing that you need to sort of, if ingredients are in season, a squash early in the season might be a little starchy, where at the end it might be a little bit more sweet, and it's ripening a little bit more. So kind of, that's not always in a textbook anywhere. You kind of have to just understand that and taste and learn. And anyway, I help to guide people, and those relationships mean a ton to me. And, and then just like life in general, I've met some of my best friends through the cooking and culinary industry. My wife, just like in traveling, I've been to Southeast Asia, Italy, all these different places across the world that cooking's helped to kind of, do that with me. So it's just relationships and opportunity really have been the two driving forces through my whole career.
Right. There's just no limit within our industry on how much you can build within the relationship realm, and also the places that you can see. So what do you look for then in a hire? Can you talk to us a little bit about the candidates that you're looking for right now, and a little bit about the hiring process at Yellowstone Club?
The two big ones are like positive energy and just like open-mindedness. I think there's just not enough time and room for any sort of people who are kind of down on themselves. And I know it's been a tough couple of years for everybody, but I think having positive perspective on things is always, and like framing things in the right way is a huge piece for me. So that positivity and solid, strong energy going into any sort of challenge or opportunity or whatever it is hugely important for me. Having an open mind and just like a willingness to learn. And there's in this industry, you could take, one recipe, give it to 10 different cooks or chefs, and you'll get 10 different outcomes. So there's a ton of different ways to do things. And early on, it's more just about absorbing all that stuff, not committing to one way or the other. Because depending on the environment you're in down the road, one way that you like might work the best, but maybe it won't. Maybe you need to kind of look at somebody else's sort of take on things too. And so I think that's a big piece. It's not an easy industry. So I always look for people with a little bit of grit and that like sort of kitchen etiquette. I don't run kitchens like the military, but there is sort of an order and a way to do things that, number one, keeps people safe. But number two, makes the whole operation efficient and learnable for the next sort of generation too. So there's got to be a big structure there too. And having people follow that structure is always super important to me. I don't look for a ton of skills. Like skills are kind of the bonus part, and if you're just in culinary school now, you're not going to, be coming out with all kinds of different skills and techniques. But that's what we're here for, to help kind of teach some of that and expose you to a lot of those things. So really, it's just about attitude, positivity, and the willingness to learn and jump in and help out and be part of the team. Honestly, like the interaction between people is, I don't know, 75, 80% of the job, and being able to work with somebody and kind of connect with them and form that trust. So that's a big piece too.
Certainly. Yeah, that's great advice. I love the positive energy, coming in with an open mind, having that grit, to continue and notice that every day is a new day and it's a new opportunity to learn is necessary within any industry, but specifically in the role that can be the culinary world.
Take it shift by shift. You don't need to get too big about it, but come into the day and make it a great shift, and your week ends up being a great week, and then your month, and then your career ends up being, a positive, way to go.
Certainly. And I think that that's really good advice too, because we talk a lot in the career services department about career planning and career strategy. And sometimes it is one shift at a time, one day at a time. And our students get so overwhelmed about having to just go from 0 to 150 from a skills base. And that's just not realistic whatsoever. So having mentors like you who understand it's the soft skills that you bring into the position, that, anyone's trainable, anyone's skills can be improved, and that you're there to provide, the training and the mentorship to bring them to where they want to be. But it's a two-way street. They have to come in with that right attitude and work ethic. So we've learned a lot about you today. We've learned so much about Yellowstone Club as an incredible opportunity for anyone interested in employment options. What are some of those final words that you want to leave with our students watching this today?
I would say, if there were 3 words that I would pass along, and I was at a bakery in San Francisco years ago at a tour, and the guy was like this hard-edged sort of baker, and his 3 words that I'll never forget were just never compromise quality. It was a simple sort of one line that has stuck with me throughout my whole career. And as soon as you start compromising, as soon as you start saying, well, that might be okay, I'll let that pass this one time, it sort of has that like sort of domino effect and snowball effect that you end up going down sort of a wrong path. But if you just stick with quality, whether it be the highest quality fast casual concept that can possibly exist, that's totally fine. Or if it's a Michelin starred fine dining establishment, that's obviously high quality too. So throughout my career, it's always been, whether it be in a club or a restaurant or a chain restaurant, whatever it may be, try to look at the highest quality ingredients, work with the highest quality people, and your outcome will always be, at very least, very good quality. So that's just the simplest way I can go. Expose yourself to as much as possible, taste and learn. One thing I hadn't mentioned before was there's a huge international workforce here too. So we get a lot of H-2B and J-1 visas that come from South America, Europe, Southeast Asia. So you're working alongside people who have this totally different mindset of culture and food. And that's one of the best things I loved working in New York and with Danielle, is there was this huge international community, and you just learned so much about the world without even having to travel. So that's a huge one too. Travel, read books, expose yourself and taste. When I was a cook, young in New York, we would just like save up all of our money and go eat at Le Bernardin for lunch, get like the $50 prefix menu and just kind of get exposed to that sort of style of service and those ingredients and things like that. And if you're really into it, that's if you play baseball, what do? You're out, playing the game, you're going to games, you're exposing yourself to all that stuff, or any kind of sport. Cooking is the same way. It's actually is a hardcore team sport.
Yes, it is. That is fantastic advice. Never compromise quality. And I think you can look at it so well on a daily basis in your culinary discipline, but also just you as a person, right? If you're not compromising the quality within the standards that you hold yourself to, you are going to improve on a daily basis, because you're holding yourself accountable for those expectations, which, is just necessary within our industry for sure, to be competitive, to stand out, and to really accomplish what you're looking to do. So thank you so much for your words today. We've learned so much about this opportunity. I'm so excited to share this with our community, and I do hope that we can send some Escoffier talent your way.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate your time and look forward to meeting some of the students down the road.
Fantastic. Take care.